Have you ever felt like life is rushing you by, leaving you exhausted and drained? Well, what if I told you there's a simple yet powerful solution right at your fingertips? Welcome to the world of self-care. In this video, we're diving deep in the transformative power of self-care. We're going to explore why it's not just a luxury, but a necessary for your overall well-being. I'm Leslie, an educator and counselor, guiding you into mental, physical, and emotional wellness. Get ready for some practical tips and anecdotes and a fresh perspective about what it means to take care of yourself. Picture this. It's been a long day, stress is weighing you down, but you decide to lace up your sneakers and go for a jog. And as you feel your feet hit the pavement, your breath steadies and you feel the tension melting away. That's the magic of self-care for physical wellness. Whether it's exercise, nourishing meals, or simply getting enough sleep, prioritizing your physical health is the foundation of a thriving life. So let's dig a little deeper into each one of these aspects. Physical self-care is taking care of your body. This means eating foods that are not processed and full of chemicals, limiting and avoiding sugars, drinking plenty of water. We all know the things that we need to nourish our bodies, but yet if we don't have the mindset of our motivation and our reason for taking care of our bodies, we tend to give up into our impulsive wants and desires. At least I know I do. But just consider the fact that food is actually about caring for your body and the longevity that you can have just simply by feeding it what it needs. Now, let me share a personal story. There was a time when my mind felt like a tangled mess of worries and doubts until I discovered the power of mindfulness. Through practices like meditation and journaling, I learned to quiet the noise and find clarity in the chaos. Self-care for mental wellness is just about quieting the mind, but also about nurturing it with positivity and self-compassion. I've been making a lot of mistakes lately, and this can sometimes send me into a spiral. The one thing I can do is to refocus my mind when I'm putting myself down, is to, number one, talk with someone about it, and this helps me to process my thoughts, put things in perspective, and make sure that my thinking doesn't get out of hand. And number two, I remind myself that I'm human. I'm going to make some mistakes, and how I learn from them, that will be the difference. And sometimes that means I have to take the same mistake several times, and I think that also happens to all of us. And number three, I say positive affirmations to keep my intentions where I want them to be. I provide mantras or things to repeat over and over, like, you can do hard things, Leslie. And I'm still learning and growing, and this is your opportunity for growth. Have you ever had a day where your emotions felt like a roller coaster that you couldn't control? I certainly have. But through self-care practices like spending time in nature, connecting with loved ones, or even just allowing myself to feel and process my emotions, I've learned how to ride the waves of grace. Emotional wellness isn't about suppressing your feelings, but about embracing them and finding healthy ways to navigate them. This past year, I have felt this huge wave of emotions after losing several loved ones. There are just these waves of sadness that come over me, like the other day when I was listening to that song, Beautiful Things, and I started to think of how I don't want to lose my beautiful people in my life. So what do? I allow myself to sit with those emotions, and then for a minute, and I can get out of it and move on to something else and do something like going for a walk or doing some yoga like I did that night. Sometimes I journal all the things I'm feeling, and it helps me to process them and practice turning my thoughts around. And here's a bonus tip. Self-care isn't just about doing solo activities. It's also about nurturing your social connections, whether it's quality time with friends, heartfelt conversations with family, or even joining a community that shares your interests. Investing in your social awareness is key to feeling supported and connected in a world that can often feel isolating. I know what isolation can feel like. I live with 3 introverts that could just sit in their rooms happy all day long with no one else around. But I'm not like that. I need to be around others. Not all the time, but more than the rest of my family. So I set specific intentions to meet up with my friend for pedicures, to meet people for lunch after church, to join a book club, or to go to an art workshop, or my latest adventure, joining a spin class. There are so many different ways to meet people, but you have to be intentional if you don't just have a whole bunch of friends who aren't busy with their own lives as much as everyone else is. So here's your chance to step outside your comfort zone a little and try something new to meet new people. So there you have it. Self-care isn't selfish, it's essential. By prioritizing your physical, mental, emotional, and social well-being, you're not only taking care of yourself, but also setting the foundation for a life filled with joy, resilience, and inner peace. So go ahead, make self-care a priority. It's the greatest gift that you can give yourself, and go master your next moment.